Hello, my name is Richard Odgers, and I will be going over physiology leading into psychology. Charles Bell is a physiologist who did research on nerves. Through experimenting on rabbits, he discovered that two types of nerves come from different parts of the spinal cord. Motor nerves that are associated with movement come from anterior roots, while sensory nerves associated with sensation come from the posterior roots of the spinal cord. Another physiologist named Francois Magendie discovered the same information that Bell did, which resulted in a controversy of discovery. Although Bell's discovery occurred 11 years earlier, both names are applied to the law that explains what nerves are. Johannes Mueller is another physiologist who looked at nerves. Mueller is best known for discovering that our sensation derives from an organ system called the central nervous system. Our knowledge of the physical world is limited to the sense receptors located in our central nervous system. Mueller also was a vitalist and believed life is not purely physical. Herman von Helmholtz was another physiologist who looked at the central nervous system and believed that living organisms operated like machines, making him a materialist. A significant issue with both points of view is that nerve conduction occurs very quickly. Helmholtz experimented on a frog by stimulating nerve fibers at a distance from the muscle, and did the same to humans while measuring the rate at which nerve impulse travels. He later abandoned the experiment but did have important implications in his research. Here is a list of the contributors to the nervous system for note-taking. Helmholtz believed past experience in the observer converted sensation into perception. Unconscious inference is the transformation of the two terms. For example, the past experience of seeing the color red and having heard the word red transformed the sensation of just a wavelength of color to perceiving that wavelength as red. Newton discovered by looking through a prism that the color white can be split into wavelengths that result in multiple colors. In regards to how humans perceive those wavelengths, Mueller originally believed that color vision had one specific nerve energy with it. Helmholtz built upon this belief and stated there was three separate receptors. These receptors corresponded with three primary colors and had various combinations. Helmholtz also found that the air had a complex system of many receptors where there are thousands of nerve fibers having their own specific nerve energy. The short fibers were sensitive to high frequencies and long fibers sensitive to low frequencies. For touch, Weber presented support for muscle sense. He also discussed the 2-point threshold, which is the distance between 2 points someone reports that they sense. Weber's law is also discussed, and in that law, J and D's, also known as just noticeable differences, correspond to a constant fraction of a standard stimulus. Perhaps you prefer visual perception over auditory, so here are some notes. Feel free to pause. Around the time of the 18th century, people liked to believe that physical features determine character. However, Franz Joseph Gall believed in phrenology. He thought that a person's mental faculties can be seen by observing depressions in the skull. Another physiologist, Paul Broca, discovered a region in the mind that controls speech articulation, while Carl Wernicke discovered speech comprehension. Much of phrenology originated with the railroad accident of Phineas Gage, where a brain injury changed much of his personality. Here are some more notes about physiology of the mind.